Open a bag of chips tonight. Go ahead, reach in. Notice how your hand hits the bottom way too fast? The bag looks the same size it always did. The price tag hasn't moved a penny, but something is missing, and you can feel it in your fingers. Here's what's strange. Your cereal box got thinner. Your toilet paper lost sheets. Your ice cream tub shrank from half a gallon to 1.5 quarts. Prices stayed flat, yet you're spending more per ounce than ever. Everyone blames greedy corporations. But what if I told you the real culprit isn't sitting in a boardroom? It's sitting in a building in Washington, D.C., quietly printing money. Here's the paradox that should keep you up at night. Two facts that seem to contradict each other completely. Fact 1. Official inflation numbers stayed tame for over a decade after 2008. The government said prices were barely moving. Fact 2. In that same decade, your grocery cart quietly got lighter and lighter. So which is it? Were prices stable, or weren't they? Both things can't be true at the same time, unless someone is measuring inflation with a broken ruler. Think of the Federal Reserve like a giant water tower for the economy. When the economy slows, they open the valve. That's quantitative easing, flooding the system with cheap money. Between 2008 and 2022, the Fed poured trillions into financial markets. That money didn't flow evenly. It pooled at the top. Stocks, bonds, real estate surged. But down at street level, it hit manufacturers as a wave of rising costs. By June 2021, the cost of raw materials hit its highest level since 1979. Metals, lumber, chemicals, energy, everything spiked. Now here's where it gets personal. Companies like PepsiCo and Mondelez faced a brutal squeeze. Their costs jumped 12 to 18%, but they couldn't just raise prices. Why? Because Walmart runs an algorithm that punishes price hikes instantly. Amazon's automated system does the same thing. Raise your price and the algorithm buries your product. So what do? You don't change the price tag. You change what's inside the box. That's not greed, that's survival in a system the Fed built. So this week, every half-empty bag in your pantry is a receipt from monetary policy. Let's trace the money. Picture quantitative easing as a fire hose aimed at a swimming pool. The Fed buys bonds, flooding banks with cash. Banks don't lend it to your corner bakery. They pour it into stocks, real estate, and commodities. That's called the portfolio rebalancing effect. Investors, drowning in cheap cash, chase riskier bets. Suddenly, wheat futures, aluminum, and crude oil become hot trades. The fire hose was aimed at Wall Street, but the splash hits your grocery aisle. Here's the receipts. By June 2021, the ISM Manufacturing Prices Paid Index hit 92.1. That's the highest since 1979, over 40 years. Think about that number, like a fever thermometer for factories. Anything above 50 means costs are rising. 92 means the patient is burning up. Metals, lumber, chemicals, energy, every input screaming higher. Meanwhile, the cheap dollar made American commodities a bargain overseas. Foreign buyers piled in, bidding prices up even further. Manufacturers weren't imagining the pain. The Fed's medicine had very real side effects. Now here's the trap. PepsiCo, Unilever, Mondelez. They absorbed cost spikes of 12 to 18%. They wanted to raise prices. Any rational business would. But Walmart's internal algorithm, called the Competitive Price Index, watches every penny. Amazon's automated pricing system does the same. Raise your price by a quarter, and the algorithm demotes your product overnight. Fewer eyeballs, fewer sales, fewer shelf slots next quarter. So these companies did the only thing the algorithm couldn't easily catch. They shrank the product. Same price tag, same shelf space, less cereal inside. That's not a conspiracy. That's a corporation stuck between a central bank and an algorithm. So this week, every missing ounce in your pantry is a cost your boss's raise never covered. So here's the misconception most people carry around. Shrinkflation is corporate greed, plain and simple. CEOs in suits scheming to rip you off. It feels true. It feels satisfying to blame. But that story has a hole the size of a missing scoop of ice cream. If greed were the answer, why didn't companies shrink products in 2005 or 1998? Greed isn't new. What's new is the monetary environment those companies swim in. Here's the verified reality. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet ballooned from under $1 trillion to nearly $9 trillion. That ocean of cheap money inflated assets at the top. Stocks soared. Real estate boomed. But official CPI said inflation was quiet. How? Because the ruler was rigged. Hedonic adjustments, geometric weighting, substitution effects. Fancy ways of saying the government's thermometer ignores your actual fever. If steak gets expensive, CPI assumes you'll buy chicken instead. Problem solved on paper. Meanwhile, food, housing, and healthcare, the things you actually can't skip, rose far faster than the headline number. So who actually pays for quantitative easing? Not the people who own stocks and houses. Their wealth inflated right alongside the money supply. The bill lands on wage earners. Your salary buys fewer chips, less cereal, thinner paper towels. The Fed didn't raise your taxes. It didn't cut your paycheck. It just made everything quietly smaller. That's the invisible tax. It arrives not as a higher number, but as empty space at the bottom of the bag. So this week, the gap between your paycheck and your pantry isn't bad budgeting. It's monetary policy working exactly as designed. So here's what I need you to remember. Shrinkflation is not the disease. It's the symptom. The disease is a monetary system that quietly moves wealth upward while sending the bill downward, disguised as an unchanged price tag. Next time you open a bag that feels half empty, don't just blame the brand. Ask what the Fed's balance sheet did that year. Start reading the weight on the label, not just the price. Track unit costs, not sticker prices. And share this video with someone still blaming corporations alone. Because understanding the real machine is the first step to not getting quietly taxed by it. So this week, your grocery receipt is a macroeconomics exam. And now you know the answers.